4 months ownership review on this E55 AMG. This is my 2005 Mercedes-Benz E55 AMG, and I'm pretty much going to give you guys a rundown of my 4-month ownership of owning this car. I guess we'll go over a few things as well in terms of modifications that I've done. And those of you that have been watching the channel, you guys already know I got this car in July of this year. 4 months, guys. I had to do this video for you guys to really get a glimpse into, you know, owning an E55, because this car is a great car. It's an awesome car. I would recommend 10 out of 10 this car to anyone that's looking for a really fast sedan daily driver. It's the first issue that I had with the car, and I guess that can fall under maintenance. Maybe not, but the first thing that really I had issues with was the alternator. The alternator burnt out on me at least twice. I wasn't really sure. So when the alternator went out on this car, I figured, let me look it up and see what really is going on, because the alternator on these cars, what I've learned is sometimes the alternators don't go bad. It's the voltage regulator attached to the alternator. So I ended up ordering that and replaced that. I was still having issues with the alternator. Pretty much, you know, the battery wasn't charging at all. So took that out and I figured, okay, the alternator is definitely done. Before we actually get more into it, what I ended up seeing on the dash was a red signal right there that says battery alternator. I figured, you know, it's either the battery or it could be the alternator. Like the battery could be bad, or the alternator could be bad, or the voltage regulator. So I took the alternator out, got it rebuilt, which was a lot cheaper, put that back in there, and the car was running fine. I want to say it ran for probably 2 weeks max, and then I got that red battery signal again. The second time I got it, this time I noticed some sort of smoky smell in the cabin. You can tell when your alternator is burning out. We'll go into the cabin and you can kind of smell it, or sometimes you can see it coming out of the hood. And also keep in mind, I'm doing all this job myself. The alternator isn't too bad to take out. There are a few things you got to do. You got to remove the radiator, you got to bleed the radiator, you got to take out the double idler pulleys and a few other items before you can get to the alternator. It's all the way down there. It's actually not a terrible job if you are really handy, but honestly, if you take it to a shop, yeah, it will cost you some. But being handy, especially on these older vehicles, will save you a ton of money. It was such a headache getting the alternator out at least twice. So I took the alternator out, took it out to get it rebuilt again, and they told me, dude, everything is fried on here. You need a new alternator. Actually, before I even got the car, the alternator that was on here was brand spanking new, and I wasn't sure why it went out. After getting a new alternator, put it in there, I made sure to check the voltage regulator. You can check the voltage signal on these cars. If you put it in first position and tap on this button 3 times, it will tell you what voltage the car is at. It was running at 12.5 volts even when the car was running. I wasn't sure if that was like an E55 thing. Rookie mistake. It's not an E55 thing. Every car should be running between 13.5 to 14 volts whenever the car is running. So I thought maybe it was just an E55 thing. So I was running the car at 12.5 volts. This whole time the alternator is working its butt off just to charge the battery and get enough voltage out there. That's why it kept burning out. So Monica actually did some research with me as well. She actually found the answer to this. So check it out. Going to the trunk here, I didn't know exactly what this was, but this is a BCM. It's a battery control module, and pretty much my battery control module was toast. So I ended up replacing. I found a used one on eBay, replaced it, cranked up the car, and I had 14 volts. The car was actually running at 14 volts, between 13.5 and 14 volts, and that's what it should be at. And this whole time I didn't know that. So this is actually a common issue on these cars. The BCMs usually go bad, and I saw it on different forums. Someone was having some sort of issue and they put out a video, and you could hear like the BCM, like if it's bad, you could hear like a really high pitched noise, and sometimes I would hear that before the alternator goes out. So keep an eye on the BCM on these cars. I ended up replacing that, and it's been great ever since. So that was the first issue I had to deal with on this car. It was a little bit frustrating because I took the alternator out, got it rebuilt, put everything back in there, took it out again, got a new one, put everything back in there, and it was just It was just tedious work, especially getting the radiator and everything out and bolting everything back in there. So if you see your voltage not charging properly, it's definitely a BCM. What I ended up picking up was this guy right here. It tells you your battery voltage whenever you put the car in second position, and it just tells you whenever you're driving. It also charges like your phone or a USB-C charger right there, so it's pretty nice. So I always have that running. So that was the first issue with this car. I'll tell you what, before we get into the second issue, since then, you know, the car has been great. I've gone on at least 3 road trips on this thing. Can't really tell how many miles, but it's probably been close to 10,000 miles of just road trips. But the second issue, which just happened about last week, my secondary air injection pump went out. Those go out. So pretty much what I was having issues was with my pump was pretty much running at like high speed. I did some research and it said either the relay is stuck open or the pump has failed. If the pump failed, I would assume it wouldn't run at all. So there's something either wrong with the pump or the relay. On these E55s, if you guys are curious, the older models have the relay underneath of here. My model's in 2005 to 2006, and the relay is actually in the trunk. I'll show you guys. Well, I'm not gonna dig through here, but it's underneath this right here in the corner back there. It's next to the fuel pump relay and fuel pump fuse. So how I ended up solving this issue was I basically went underneath the car and unplugged the connector to the secondary air injection pump, because when I was in traffic, I could just hear this really loud fan just running like crazy. I wasn't too far away from home. Got home, parked it in the garage, turned the car off. The fan was just kept going. So I figured I unplugged it to make sure it doesn't kill my battery, because when I unplugged the battery, the fan stopped. When I plugged the battery back in, the fan kept going. So secondary air injection is gonna be going on this car. Obviously, here, I'll show you. All right, see this guy right here? These are the valves for the secondary air injection, and this line pretty much goes down there. I'm gonna be deleting it and blocking these off of the supercharger. You really don't need the secondary air injection pump. It's only valid on the first few seconds of your cold start, and after that it is pointless. So I'm going to be blocking that off with block off plates. I will go ahead and also variant code the ECU to not show that, you know, there is a problem with the secondary air injection, so you don't get a check engine light. Other than that, guys, I haven't had any issues with the car. The car has been running phenomenal. It is currently fully stock in terms of performance. It just has a muffler delete and a Canon filter in there, so it probably picked up a few horsepower. The only thing that really I've done modifications wise are the, you know, carbon fiber front lip right there, the side skirts going back here. I did the trunk spoiler, the diffuser. This is a must on the diffuser. It looks fantastic. Let me show you the other side, the side skirt on the other side. Blacked out the badges. I also blacked out this side marker right there. And what else did I do? Oh, I remember. I did stud conversions. Stud conversions are amazing. I would say it's a must. So I've got 90 millimeters running in there. I'm running spacers, so they look fantastic in terms of fitment wise. And that's pretty much it, guys. Oh, also catch can. This is a must also. It's great. It catches a lot of oil. I dump it out every 3 weeks to a month. Great addition. Other than that, guys, like, this car, it's been great. It's so fun to drive. It really pulls. The torque on this thing is ridiculous. Honestly, highly recommend this car. Performance wise, I'm really itching to do a stage 1 tune, like a stock car with just a stage 1 tune on it, because sometimes I drive Monica's E55, and if you guys are new to the channel, go subscribe to Hey Girls Garage. She has a black E55 2006. Featured it on the channel a couple of times, but Hers is so fun to drive. It's insane also. So just experiencing that and then hopping back into mine, it kind of feels a little sluggish, but I feel like I'm ready for it to go stage one. I'm thinking about doing that shortly here. I don't know. I still want to do a few things before I do performance modifications. I do want to do a split coolant on here and then upgrade the main heat exchanger and slap on a secondary heat exchanger, and before doing anything. I think I've covered a lot of what I wanted to cover in 4 months. 4 months, you know, this car, it's been great. I've just had those little 2 things that happen, and other than that, pretty solid car. Just turned on the car. I do have LED lights running on the fog lights, and LED lights running in the parking lights. I did forget to mention tints also. I've done that. Check it out. This is the interior. Super clean, super nice in here. That's the front seat. Nothing crazy at all, just a Apple CarPlay. Other than that, that is the interior. I figured I'll show you guys. You guys can check it out. I couldn't really think of anything else that I could think of. And like I said, if you guys want to know a little bit more, you can ask me more in the comments down below, and I would love to answer your questions. But if you do enjoy this channel, guys, go ahead and smash the subscribe button, and I will catch you guys in the next video.